Now let's talk about extreme weather, something we report on here a lot at BBC News, and many of you are all too familiar with its effects. Wildfires, storms, hurricanes and flooding have pushed up costs for the insurance and reinsurance industry. In the UK, weather damage insurance claims were worst on record last year, according to the Association of British Insurers. This massive rise was largely fueled by the succession of storms that struck last autumn. In June this year, Swiss Re, one of the world's biggest reinsurers, said the industry significantly underestimated the fallout from recent natural disasters across Europe and warned that some areas have become uninsurable. And in Texas right now, millions of homes are out of power in the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl. Well, Matthias Truchert is head of global property and casualty at Allianz Group. I asked him if this problem is growing.
It is, and as you just said, we can see on a worldwide scale that there's a lot of extreme weather on the different continents. We have everything from droughts to wildfires to really extreme heat. And as the numbers you just quoted show us, the amount of insured losses have indeed really risen a lot. Now, that is not just due to extreme weather, I have to say. There's also a lot of socioeconomic factors, being it claims inflation, being it a higher aggregation of property in hazardous areas, and just also a growing economy as well. And it is very important to separate the two effects in order to be able to really fully understand what's happening and what might be happening over the next years.
In the short term, are we assuming this will only get worse? We hope it will get better as governments, organisations and we as all individuals respond to the climate crisis. But in the short term, in the years ahead, things will not improve significantly. So how are you preparing for that?
I think it's very important to take a couple of measures. The insurance industry can and will play a role in that because we think we have a lot of expertise in terms of not just estimating, but also assessing how and where this is going to strike most likely. At the same time, global warming is here to stay. I think everyone knows that. And we will have to invest a lot more into protection and into resilience. And all of this together with the role of the state, where there must be enough of state incentive to also invest into protection and also make sure that we have enough resilience in nature. That together, we think is the only way to be able to cope with that in the next years.
Not surprising to hear that Swiss Re is warning some parts of Europe are uninsurable. That has to be true of so many countries around the world. And if that is the case, will people just have to move away? There'll be parts of countries that are uninhabitable.
The question about insurability certainly is one, but if you were to live in a place where you'd be sure that your home would either be completely flooded or burnt once every 10 years at least, would you really want to live there? And is that sustainable in a way? As I said, insurance is one part, but the other parts are really protection and resilience. And I think we have to make sure we're all more aware of what's happening and what makes sense.
Yes, indeed. It's a huge issue for many around the world and across the UK. This is BBC News.